Stephen, welcome to Watch Your Story. How are you? How are you feeling? How's your week been? How's your month been?
I'm good, man. I'm good. First of all, I just want to say thank you for reaching out and obviously asking me to come on the platform. Like, I appreciate that, man. Like, obviously you didn't have to, but I appreciate that. But yeah, it's been a good week, man. I've been good, man. I've been good. Just work as usual. Like, I'm currently working on my latest book, so I'm just doing like character designs and stuff for that. So yeah, man. Just always positive, always productive, man. Just trying to do what I can, really. So it's been good, man. It's been good.
I remember I met you at the. I'd heard of you before by law school, but I met you probably at the Black Book Festival.
Yeah,
If you
yeah, yeah,
remember, yeah.
yeah. I remember.
Yeah, I remember I was gonna get a book from you, yeah, but then the thing
Yeah,
stopped working.
yeah, because
The link.
the 4G the signal for the Wi-Fi was a bit spotty at the time that you came, and then yeah, you didn't manage to come back, but it's all right, man. It's all no worries, man. No worries, man.
No, there's your book here. There's no book I was gonna get as well.
Yeah,
But then I got lost. There was so much going on here. I wanted to check out some of the talks,
yeah,
and
yeah.
I got a couple of talks. By the time I came out here, by the time I came out, all the stores are gone. I thought,
Nah, it's all right, man. It's all right. Like, it was a good event, though, man. It was a good event. It was a really good event.
I'm gonna quickly. Well, let me get straight to the main some of the questions anyway I had.
Yeah,
So obviously you know you do graphic. Your background in graphic design.
yeah.
Um, so so was that always your ambition? So was that always so was that always the path you wanted to get into? Was that always the path you wanted to get into from
Um,
the beginning?
Not necessarily graphic design, but like when I was young, I was always creative. So I'd read all the time, drawing, illustration. Like the main thing that I wanted to do when I was younger was like get into animation. Like I'd always watch cartoons like Disney and stuff like that. So I think like the main thing I wanted to do was animation. Like that's all I wanted to do, just draw, create characters, do animation and stuff like that. And then I think it was when I left primary school. No, not when I left primary school. Then when I left secondary school, and at the time it's like, you know, what you want to do next. So we had like careers and one coming to the school and stuff, and then of course I said to her, I just want to do animation, and she said, oh, there's animation on this graphic design course at such and such college or whatever. So I signed up. I did graphic design, but then unfortunately there's no animation on that course, and then that was the kind of like point where I started learning like graphic design, like color theory, obviously typography and things like that. And it wasn't anything that I specifically wanted to go into at the time, but because I was just generally creative and I enjoyed the creative stuff, like I kind of rolled with it anyway. And then obviously that just led to me going to university, doing graphic design, etc., etc. And then yeah, just going from there really. So I'm a full-time graphic designer, but obviously my passion is with the character design, the reading the books and animation and stuff. And that's where obviously the book series came up about really. So I've always been
Can we go back?
creative.
Yeah. Can we go back a bit there? Back, yeah. So you said that obviously when you're younger, yeah, you always wanted to work draw for Disney, and you enjoy drawing when you're little. When I had that, yeah, it reminded me like back in the day in our school. There was a period where all of us wanted to draw, get into. I used to watch cartoons and that.
Yeah.
I used to like watch draw characters and also try to get our own characters. So I was gonna ask you like, did you have your favorite like Disney characters and also do you remember the first kind of cartoon character you tried to draw when you were little? Do you remember what that was?
I think probably like mainly like the superheroes, like the Batmans and the Spider-Mans and stuff. I still, as you can see, there's a Spider-Man poster in the back there. Like I'm still like, obviously I still enjoy that kind of stuff. But I think it's mainly like the superheroes, and then of course like obviously Disney films, like you know the Aladdin's, Lion King, etc. Like just it's mainly like those are like the main influences growing up, and then obviously just reading a load of books as well. To be honest, so that was the main thing. And then as I got older, I started to learn more about anime and stuff. So it's things like Dragon Ball Z and stuff, and other like animes and things like that. That obviously I used to watch and stuff, and then that was the main influence. And then from like playing like computer games as well. Like I'm a big like retro gaming fan, so like the SNES, because I grew up on like the NES and the SNES and things like that, like Mario, Tetris, all that kind of stuff. I grew up on all of that, so a lot of that plays into kind of who I am now, what I do now, essentially. So yeah.
So you also like a library girl. Did your parents used to take you like
Yeah,
library?
yeah,
Did
all the
you?
time, all the time, all the time, all the time. Yeah, like the library. I think reading was like such a big thing for me. It obviously is now, but like growing up though, it was like yeah, I used to read so much. So, like, I read all the time, and just because I was just so, I think my mind back then was so active that like I just always used to be creating things. I'll get my school book, I'll be drawing on the front of the school book and things like that, and just like I've always been that way inclined, I guess. So it's kind of just obviously fed into like my later years and what I'm doing now, essentially. So yeah.
So I was gonna ask, at what point did the idea of even consider writing a children's book, at what point did that come into play?
I think, as I say, because obviously being a graphic designer, like you always, like majority of the times you'll be working for other people, like doing projects. So create this logo for this person, create this flyer for that person, etc., etc. And like I've been doing that for so long, and then I think I've got to a point where I was like, it's kind of in the selfish way. Like I need to do something that's mine for myself. Like I can look back on it and say, this is my work that I've done for me. It's not for a client. I've not been like I've used myself and done it. So got to a point where like there's a bit I've got made redundant like in like my design job and stuff. And then I was like, okay, that's now let me just do my own thing. It's pretty much that. So I think that kind of sparked it. I'd always had the idea, and like while I was doing design, I was still always drawing and illustrating and things like that. But it's like there's a point in time where the design took over the illustration, where I was doing a lot more design work, and I felt like I'd kind of not lost the passion, but I'd not been paying as much attention as I should to what I essentially wanted to do. So then it just happened that obviously I got made redundant, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna start writing a children's book. And because again, obviously I illustrate stuff in it, I was like, I'm just gonna do it. So pretty much I just went out and did it, and that was it. Like I was like, I have the opportunity, let me use the time wisely. So obviously I did all my research and stuff, bought like a load of children's books, because obviously coming from like my design background, I don't have a clue what I'm doing. I know I can draw, I think I can write, but like I don't know what I'm doing. So I just got to a point I was like, okay, let me just start writing the books, doing ideas and things, and then yeah, pretty much sparked from that, to be honest. And then after I did the first one, everything just spiraled after that, to be fair. So yeah.
That's with the first one being Santana's Bad Hair Day.
Yeah, that was the first one. Yeah.
So you,
yeah.
so yeah, hold up, yeah, that's it. Oh, that's it. So when you're doing that book,
yeah,
the idea for that book, were there any? So was it because okay, one of my book now, yeah, and the first idea was Santana's Day. What were there any other preliminary ideas that came about before you came to this final one, being Santana's Bad Hair Day?
It kind of not necessarily, but I think like at the time, obviously, you know, there's a lot of talk about, you know, like black hair and African styles and hair and stuff, and obviously it's kind of in the media and around the times, and you know, just general acceptance of your hair and who you are and stuff like that. So I think that kind of those kind of topics around that time played a part, but generally it's kind of just I was just randomly drawing one day, and then ended up drawing a little girl, and she had like a big afro, missing tooth, whatever. And then I didn't think anything of it because it was at the time I was kind of just drawing, just doing character designs and stuff. And then after that, it was maybe like 3-4 days later, and then I drew her again. And then there's maybe like a week after that, I drew her again, and I was like, oh, this character's kind of sticking with me now. So then after that point, once I kind of got to a point where, okay, I feel like this character is sticking, then I just went out and just wrote the story. I like pretty much just had the ideas, wrote the story, came up with the themes and stuff, and then just went from there. But I think I already knew it's weird because I kind of had the end point before I had fleshed out the story, so I kind of worked backwards with it. Whereas I knew what I wanted to achieve and what moral I was trying to put out there, but then I kind of had to work back, and then obviously that's what I did. So yeah.
There's a question someone's written. First Lady Ria says, "Are you self-published with your books?"
Yeah, yes, all self-published. Like pretty much. As welcome. Thanks for watching, by the way. First of all, but yeah, pretty much all self-published. I obviously, as I say, I'm a graphic designer, so I'm fortunate in the sense that I can do all the illustrations, the format, and all the rest of it. So yeah, pretty much everything's all me. All self-published.
I'm gonna ask the question actually about the publishing issue, because I remember I was researching. I saw something you said. Someone said Little Mo book, but I saw something that says Movement Publishing. Is that yours as well?
Oh yeah,
Movement.
yeah. Because again, this is me not knowing stuff. Because early on, at the start, I'd when I did Santana's Bad Hair Day, obviously you have to buy like ISBN numbers and things like that. And I think where I purchased the ISBN number at the time, it was like it was cheaper, but then I think I had to call it like Movement Publishing at the time, because at the time when I first started, it wasn't even Little Milo Books, it was Santana's World, because again, I didn't know where this was going to go. So at the time, when I'd written the first book, it was just like, I've written the first book and that's it. So it's just Santana's World. But then obviously things kind of like got bigger, they'll probably get into. And then I was at a point like, obviously I'm probably fast forwarding now, but I was at a point where obviously I've got the 3 Santana's books and stuff, but like I didn't want to be stuck in that brand. I wanted to kind of expand more and kind of create different styles of books and like expand myself as well in terms of creative. But then everything was Santana's World. So then I kind of had to get to a point where, what do I do here? Which is why it's now Little Milo Books. Milo, for those that don't know, is this little character here. So it's kind of based off him, but that just allowed me, in terms of like branding and awareness and things like that, it just allowed me to kind of be able to create different styles of books and not be kind of pigeonholed into this style because it's Santana's World essentially. So with the Movement Publishing, it was just, I had to, when I bought the ISBNs originally, I had to call it Movement Publishing. So it's like that, which is probably something I'm gonna sort out. But obviously, get over time, knowing more things, knowledge, whatever else, got the proper ISBNs, so I could call it my own thing, and then that's what it is. So yeah.
So how long did it take you from the idea inception point to the actual book? How long was that process?
For the first book, I think like as I say, I had the idea, and it took me a few months to kind of nail down the story because it's like a rhyming story. So again, obviously, like getting the rhythm of the rhyming and the poem, like getting that, and obviously it's the first book that I wrote. So I'm still learning things as I'm writing, and you know, I'm proofreading. Oh, does this sound right? That doesn't sound right, etc., etc. And then obviously I've got to kind of fit what I'm writing within the story as well to make sense and have the rhythm. So the first book was definitely probably the longest, but I'd say a good few months. Like, but once I'd finished writing, the illustration and stuff was pretty easy after that. The illustrations and all that was pretty easy because that's what I do essentially. Like, so yeah, that was easy. I'd say it was a good few months before I was like happy with it, but I think at the point I was like, okay, I've done it now. I want to do it and get it out there, so I got it out there. And yeah, it's good. I'd say like maybe 4 or 5 months from the initial time, and then you know, there's sometimes where you write a little bit and then you go back and you try and look at it again a couple of days later with fresh eyes, so you can kind of see, okay, no, that doesn't sound right. Let me change that word and stuff. So I'd say a few months.
And after the first one, it was always your intention to do like a series, a little series. So you had the next one being the brand new look, and then the Santana and the Marvel's Adventure.
It actually wasn't. This is a funny story. It actually wasn't like literally. I'd only wanted to. Not that I wanted to do one book, but at least me doing one book at the time, I was like, okay, I've done the book. I'm happy now. Like I've got it out there. It's physical. It's a real thing. But what happened was when I was going to events with the books and stuff, it was like the first thing people were saying is like, oh, you know, we've always got books for the girls. There's not any books for the boys. Have you not got a boys one? And then it was a common theme, like, because at the time when I started, I'd gone to maybe 3-4 events, like back-to-back weekends. So one weekend I was in London, one weekend I was in Manchester, one weekend I was in Leeds. And again, this is just me off my own back, not knowing what I'm doing, but I'm just trying to get the book and the recognition and the branding and etc. out there. So it's pretty much just a common theme. We haven't got much for because again, around that time, I think there's probably still now, there was so many books, you know, based around girls and hairstyles and things like that. And it was like people were asking me. So I was like, you know what? And then I got to a point and I was like, I'll just do one. I'll do one because I'll do one. So then I ended up doing the other one with Amari, and then that was the second one. And then that's and then as I say, things just spiraled after that, to be honest. So yeah.
Another question in from First Lady Ria. Is there a word count for books? That's a good question actually, because I've seen people say things like when it's children's books, yeah, it can't be no more than a certain number of words. So what's your take on that? What's your take on the word count?
To be fair, I think it varies because I guess like my workout, I'm not gonna lie, I don't know the workout of the books. Like I'd have to look back on the transcripts and the documents and stuff. But they are let me look inside. Just like not if you can see there. So it's like there's quite a few words, but it's easy enough to read. So sorry if I can't answer that question, but yeah, but they're like the age ranges are from like maybe 3, 4 to about like 7, 8. Like they all vary between books. Like Santana's series is like the middle one. My Daddy Is and My Mummy Is, they're like the younger end, and then Parrot Penny is probably like the most advanced one in terms of reading. But as I say, to answer your question, yeah, as I say, it just pretty much got to a point where I was being asked constantly, and then I was like, okay, I'm going to do it, and then I did Amara's Brand New Look, and that was the next year after, and then pretty much to wrap up the Santana's World series, in a sense, I did their big adventure where they meet each other for the first time, and then they go, you know, like the Avengers kind of thing, you know, they all meet together and stuff. So it's like, and then I think at that point, that's where, yeah, it just kind of just went from there, really.
So what was the feeling for you when you first received a copy of even the first book or the other? Let's say, so what was the feeling when you first get the finished copy of the book on your hands?
It's amazing. It's amazing. It's amazing. Like, because as I say, I've been working for like probably over half a year on it, like back and forth, in and out, and like and as I say, because I do everything, like it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. So just seeing the amount of hard work that you've put in, and then I remember like I sent off and I was like, it's ready. So I sent off, got the proof, and then maybe a week later I get it in the post, and then opened it up, and like I'm not like an emotional guy, but I was like almost felt like crying. Like it was mad because it's just seeing something that you put like so much work in, and like obviously there's people out there that they won't know what goes into creating the books, and they think, oh yeah, the books was cool, but obviously, you know, there's been a lot of late nights. Everything is kind of encompassed in one physical thing. And because it was the goal at the time as well, just to do the one book, and then I'd kind of gone through the process, went back and forth on that. I got it. It was amazing. Like, it's amazing. And to be honest, it doesn't change every time I get one of the books, like for the first time, like because I'm looking at it so much as well. Like I'm creating the designs, I'm doing everything, and I'm looking constantly at it, like for like 6, 7 months at a time, 3, 4 months, whatever the time span is, and then you get the physical version, and it's like it's complete now. Like it's only at that point when the book is complete. So yeah, it's a good feeling. Good feeling. Always is. Always is.
So it's 20. So the last of the Santana book of the Santana Amari series came out in 2019.
Yes.
You then moved to a different direction when you first took off. That was it My Daddy Is?
Yes, that was that.
And it also came out during lockdown. How was that for you and your writing process?
Yeah, that was different because obviously it's just strange times across the board, and I think coming off the back of the Santana's World books, I got to a point where, as I say, like I didn't want to do another Santana's World book, and like again for me, my own personal development, things like that, I wanted to kind of expand like my illustration style, my writing style, things like that. And then I think the idea literally just popped into my head one day. I was just like, oh. And then I started writing down. And then I say it's a bit more of a simpler book in terms of like younger ages. So yeah, doing it in lockdown was, again, I was at home and I had time. So it was something that, yeah, it came pretty easy, to be fair. Like, but it's a good process though. I enjoyed the process of this one because again, it was so different to the Santana's World series, whereas like obviously the Santana's World, like it's more flat vector-based illustrations and stuff. This one was like more hand-drawn kind of, and obviously I've tried to do like a child style illustrations and stuff, and I enjoyed the process of trying to pare it back to a point where it doesn't look as polished, so it looks like a child's, because Like the story is basically it's Joshua talking about his dad from his perspective. So it's like my daddy is like the fastest, etc., etc. So getting it to a point where, like, for example, like my daddy is stuff like that. So yeah, you kind of get an idea. But it was good. It's a good process. I really enjoyed the process of doing it. To be fair, and during that time as well, like it's just something a bit more lighthearted, a bit more emotional that was I enjoyed doing basically. Yeah.
The next bit that came after that year was one that I would have expected this one actually. So when I got past your table at the festival, the next biggest one that caught my eye, definitely, that was the Power Up Penny. Because I saw it, yeah. And it reminded me of like the old school Mario,
Yeah.
Super Nintendo, or Super Nintendo Mario Kart, the Mario game. I saw it, I thought, oh my god, this is Mario.
Yeah. Because again, I feel, as I say, once Santana's World Series was done, I kind of wanted to put like more of myself into the books as well, and things that I like and things that I'm influenced by. As I say, like I grew up on like NES, SNES, Mario, things like that. So it's something that I kind of wanted to put into the books that I'm putting out there as well. Like, whereas obviously the Santana's World brand, it has like messages and morals and things like that as an oldie, but I kind of wanted to, again, I feel there's something that I noticed about obviously like the books that are out nowadays and things like that. Obviously, it's good to have like a moral, like oh, we need to do this, or we need to have self-esteem, or we need to, you know, accept everyone for who they are and that. But at the same time, like sometimes we just need fun stories, and like I don't, again, it's something where I don't want to be okay, the guy that does the books about hair, or the guy that does the books about self-esteem, like, because there's more to me than that, and there's more that can be taught. So like with this one, Power Up Penny, like this was definitely the longest book that I've worked on, definitely, because I obviously I've done. Hold on, is everything all right? Yeah, obviously I've done the illustrations, and then I've created the pixel art as well. So like I did a lot, and then but yeah, I think it was just more me wanting to put more of myself, and like, you know, there's like a snooze right there. So yeah, it's just more of me wanting to put myself in, not myself in the book itself, but just more of my personality and what drives me, and still create fun stories as well. So that's where we are with that one. And the next book that I'm working on now is a similar kind of vein. Not in terms of being similar to Power Up Penny, but it's more of like myself and my influences in the story, essentially.
So I was going to ask, so how do you find the whole publishing process? Like, was it always your intention to do it yourself, or did you ever consider using an actual publisher, an established publisher?
It's interesting question. See, at the time, like I again, it was knowledge. It was knowledge. Like I don't think I had the knowledge at the time to even be in a position where I would say, okay, I'm going to approach like agents or publishers and things like that. And because I could do it myself, I was just like, I'll just do it myself. Like, so it's more like, and I felt like it was an easier way because I have more control over what I'm doing, and because I know how to do it. I can draw, I can illustrate, I can design. I'll just go out and do it. And like, again, it kind of just carried on from there. Like, I've done one, why not do more? But I think I guess it's different for different people. Like, I think if I had got to a point where, because again, obviously it was all, because I don't, obviously I know people now that are in the industry and stuff, but like at the time I didn't. So I was just going off what I knew, and okay, you can self-publish books, this, that, and the third. So I just did it that way, really. But and then I think at the time as well, maybe after the second or third book, I thought, I don't know if what I'm doing now is even, would publishers even want what I'm doing right now? So it was easier to kind of just do it myself anyway.
I know what I mean by that. I've heard people say as well, where when it comes to publishers with ideas, and publishers it's sort of they've tried to kind of hide an idea or say, yeah, it's a good idea, but you have to change this, change that, and they end up trying to change the whole narrative
Yeah,
of what the book was
yeah,
about. So like, you know, I might as well just do this thing myself.
yeah, yeah, yeah. It's more that kind of thing, really, to
Mm-hmm.
be honest. Yeah.
What I've noticed as well when I've interviewed book authors is, for example, you're in the graphic design industry, but sometimes when you write books, it almost helps you to penetrate other industries or certain circles of people that you weren't able to navigate before. So has being an author helped you to put you in different spaces that you'd never been in before?
Yeah, 100%, 100%. Like, based off the back of my books and what I've been doing with them, like, because as I started like 2016, 2017, is that I think 2017 was the first book. 2016 was I started with coloring books first because it's a long story, but I ended up with the coloring book first before the storybook. But definitely because it was 2019. I got interviewed by BBC. Like, I'm from Birmingham, so I got interviewed from BBC Midlands. They came to my house and spoke to me about the books and stuff. And then I had like radio interviews with BBC as well. There was an event that I went to. I can't exactly remember. It was in London. I can't exactly remember where it was, but basically there was a guy from the Sunday Express newspaper there, and then he gave me his card and stuff. And at this time, I only had the coloring books. He liked the coloring books, and then basically, I got a feature in their Sunday Supplement magazine. The coloring books did. So just me going to events and obviously talking about what I'm doing and stuff has definitely put me in different spaces. And yeah, yeah, definitely. Like, if I wasn't doing the books, I wouldn't have been interviewed by BBC. I wouldn't have had the feature on the Sunday Express newspaper magazine. Yeah, and like it's just testament to obviously like networking and just getting out there and just being seen essentially, which is something that I'm a big like you should be going out there. And again, it's something that I have to do as a self-published author because I don't have the distribution channels as like Puffin or all the big name publishers. I don't have like the network of these kind of places. So for me as a person myself, I have to be at these events and go out these things and be seen and obviously get the brand out there and stuff. So it's not easy, but it's something that I enjoy at the same time.
I was just going to ask. I was just going to ask the next actually. Like, how have you found face with it?
Oh, it's hard. It's hard because again, I do think myself, and like I'm still a full-time graphic designer while I'm doing the books. Like, so the time that I have is limited in the sense of there's only so much I can do. Whereas I'm writing the books, I'm illustrating the books, editing my YouTube videos now, like obviously creating like the graphics. I'm trying to keep up with all the social media platforms as well. I'm trying to find out about events to go to. Then I'm traveling down to events with my books and stuff. And then yeah, it's being a self-published author. Like it's author industry. It's not easy. It's not easy. Like I enjoy it, but I think from like a marketing side, it's something that you kind of have to do because your reach is on. From my experiences at least, anyway, your reach is limited to what you can do. If I decide like now, okay, I'm never gonna go to another event again, then who's gonna see my books? Who's gonna know about me? Like, so it's hard. It's hard, but like, yeah, it's the path that I've chosen at the same time as well, which I enjoy. So yeah.
But at least now you now have the option of like lives as well, like doing things like maybe doing more interviews on YouTube or even IG lives. Because before,
Yeah.
you think about 10 years ago, yeah, you'd have had to come down to stations in personal phone calls. But now with
Yeah. I
social
think like
tools, you can connect with other
yeah,
platforms. You
yeah.
can even overseas as well, yeah. But I know what you mean, though. I know what you mean, still.
Yeah, like I'm so thankful that obviously we have these social platforms, like obviously the platform that I'm on now, for example, and going to the events. Like, I think it's definitely like with the promotion in terms of social media side of things, that's been amazing for me because it allows me to talk to people, reach out to people, and people to see me and the brand more than like there's times obviously I can't go down to London. Sometimes I can't do this, but the social media and the brand is still active in a space where it's accessible for everyone, really. So I think it's probably not as prevalent, obviously, as you say, back in the day when we didn't have these things. I probably wouldn't have even started if we didn't have these kind of things back then, like now. But yeah, like in this space where we are in terms of like all the obviously social media platforms and things that we have, it's been amazing for me because that is my sole way of reaching the people essentially. Like there's only so much I can do, but social media platforms help though.
I was gonna ask you, so what's been the reaction from people close to you, like family or things like that, to your
Oh,
books? Are they happy?
yeah, everyone's just so positive, so proud of what I'm doing and what I'm trying to achieve, and I'm still going. As honest, I started like 2016, still going, and obviously there've been like COVID years and things like that. But everyone's just happy and like just positive that I'm kind of just following a dream that I've had and like my passion because I believe like I'm here for a reason to kind of just give back to the younger generation and like while I've been blessed with like the skills and ability to kind of create and do things and be positive, why not do it? So I think like everyone in like my family, like my wife, mom, all the rest of it, everyone is just kind of happy that I'm doing what I'm doing, that it's helping people as well. Because I think my main thing as well is like I just want to give back, like because when I'm gone, then it's the younger generation and it's their time and they're doing what they're doing. And if I can inspire them or like, make them smile, to read a story and they're happy and they can see me and be like, oh, I want to be an illustrator now. Like, that's the thing. I've done school talks and things as well where like, I've spoken to kids and when they say things like that, like I've done what I've done. I've done what I'm here to do at that point where they say, I want to be an illustrator now. I want to be like you, things like that. Like, it's just inspiring them because, and then again, I think in this space, like in terms of like the books that I do and the style of, it's kind of rare to see like a black male kind of create these kind of books because one of the first things when I did Santana's Bad Hair Day, he was like, oh, is that the name of your daughter? Are you the illustrator? Like people were surprised because obviously it's me who I am and I'm creating this kind of illustrations with this kind of content and stuff. So it's like just trying to be different and just inspire people really and inspire the younger generation. So kind of like, as I believe that's what I'm here to do. So whatever platform I choose to do it, that's how I'm going to do it really. So yeah.
Do you ever take time out to celebrate your wins?
No, not really. Not really. It's probably something I should do more of, to be honest. Like, as I say, like the BBC interview was everyone was looking at it and saying, oh, it's massive. And it was really big at the time, but I think I probably, because I'm in the bubble of being the creator, and it's like, oh, okay, cool, yeah, I've done the interview, and then it happened, and then obviously, like, I had friends talking to me, obviously, my mom, like, I was watching it with her, and all the rest of it, and like, I think it's hard. Sometimes I think maybe once or twice, but I think for me, I'm kind of just like perpetual motion, like, okay, one's done. What is the next step now? Like I'm looking like 5 steps ahead. But like I guess in my own way, I do kind of celebrate that. Like I'm proud of what I've done. I'm proud of what I'm doing, and I'm proud that I'm continuing to do it. Like, and obviously in life, we have ups and downs and the lefts and rights and all the rest of it. But I think like my passion is still there, and it's something that will always be there in terms of what I'm doing. So I guess that's what keeps me going in terms of like obviously celebrating successes and stuff. Like yeah, because again, I feel like for me, it's small successes, but it's for the bigger picture at the end of the day. And when I'm not there, so I don't need to celebrate now. Let me celebrate when I'm retired on my yacht and everything else is done. So yeah.
I definitely understand you from that point. I definitely understand what you're saying there. So what would you say today has been probably your highlight? What would you say that? You say you haven't, what's been your highlight today?
Realistically, probably the BBC interview, because basically the interview was about like the lack of published books with like, I think it's the right term. Before at the time it was black and ethnic minority characters. I think they've changed it to something different now. Like, but yeah, at the time it was the feature was about that, and like for me to somehow just be like, you know, a guy from Birmingham just doing this thing, and then somehow it's got to a point where, you know, the BBC had come to my house to interview me about my books. Like it was very surreal because obviously I'm not doing these books thinking, oh, okay, you know, the BBC are gonna contact me, blah blah blah. I'm just doing the books. But for it to get to a point where they came to the house and interviewed me, and then in the actual full feature, Benjamin Zephaniah was in the feature as well. So because he had gone to a school and he had spoken a piece in there as well. So for it to be something like that, that was really, really big for me. It's really big in the sense of I feel like not that I didn't feel like I was doing the right thing, but what I'm doing is already making a difference, and I think that was like a big win for me. Yeah.
And has it been easy, or like getting your books into like libraries or local school libraries, things like that?
No, I wouldn't say it's been easy. It's still like something that's in process because again, it's like a knowledge thing, and like it's a knowledge thing. I think for me and a time thing. Like as again, because I say because I'm a full-time graphic designer, like I only have so much hours in the day to dedicate to like the see that's more of like the admin side of things where okay we can go here, but that's something that I'm working on because obviously I'd say I'm working on one more book, and then I think at that point I'm going to start to try and like build the brand more because although I'm doing more building in it, and like I say I've done like gone to schools and things like that, it's not consistent where I want it to be consistent, so I kind of need to put in the groundwork to make those kind of things consistent and get into the libraries and the schools and things like that. But I say it's hard because I say like once enough one book's done, I'm always thinking, what's the next book? And then I go out and do another book, and then that the time sink is okay. I'm working for another 6-7 months on another book. Then that one drops, and then I maybe have a month off, and then I'm working on another book again. And then, as I say, because I'm a graphic designer, so I do freelance work from time to time as well. So then that will come into play, and it's just the ups and downs really. But I think I'm in a position now where I have the books that I have the following that I have, and thank you for everyone, you know, for supporting and all the rest of it. That like next year is kind of the time where I really start to work on that side of the brand in terms of like admin and getting in the libraries and doing more school visits and things like that. So yeah, it's definitely in the works to kind of build in that sense because I think in terms of the books and stuff I've built with the books already, but it's the other aspects of the business, so to speak, where I kind of need to push, which is the plan for next year.
Okay. That's it for me as far as the main questions.
Yeah.
Usually I usually have a few questions at the end as well. These are just one that I ask now more kind of light-hearted.
Yeah.
Well, more kind of. So some of the questions are questions I always ask people. Let's say you're reached out to by a big publishing house, so that they say to you, you know what, Stephen, we like your work, like what you're doing. We're going to award you. We're going to give you funding to write a biography of your own choice. So we're gonna fund you to write a book that's your biography. It could be on any person of your choosing, whether dead or alive. Who would that person be and why?
Was that sorry, skipped a little bit. Autobiography. Who would I?
No, it could be a biography on any person of your choosing, and anyone.
I don't know. That is a great question. That is a great question. I'd say probably. I don't know. I actually don't know. That's a tough question. It's a tough question. I'm gonna say I'm an Arsenal fan, so I'm gonna say Thierry Henry.
That's true. You know, actually, on his book, there's book. Yeah, it's true. No, I just realized Omri hasn't been in his book yet. Yes, he needs to write one. That's true. But I just realized there's a question in the chat. It says from Jay Chimmy says can you give a sneak peek teaser on the next book? So what's it about, basically?
what the next book is about. So basically, again, from what I was saying, obviously, I kind of wanted to put more of my kind of influences and stuff in the book. Another thing that I used to watch a lot when I was younger was Power Rangers, and like I still watch it now, like the Japanese version and all the rest of it. So essentially, there's 3 children. They can turn into like quote unquote Power Rangers. The monster comes down to attack the city, and it's a general Power Ranger story. Like, the monster comes down, they transform, there's fighting and action and stuff, and it's going to be more of like a comic style book. So there'll be like, the action words and speech bubbles and things like that. So again, it's me putting my kind of influences and things that I like into the book. I'm not sure in the back you can see some figures in the back there. Like I'm just trying to put my personality and just make fun stories at the same time as well. Just trying to make fun stories as well, really. But yeah, that's due. I'm hoping by summer next year it should be finished. By summer next year, I'm definitely working hard on it now. The character designs are coming through. Like, I finished writing this book a good few months ago now, so I'm just finding the time to kind of lock in and just get everything set up and situated and work on what style I'm going to use next, and then just go from there. But
JC Chimmy says, can't wait to see it.
Thank you. I can't wait to see it when it's done too. I'm still working hard.
So the second question, another question I have is, so let's say someone takes an interest in the Santana series.
Yeah.
And so, you know what? We'll leave you an option, yeah? We're going to develop this into a cartoon. You have to write more episodes.
Yeah.
You have a choice of either having it on terrestrial TV, or have it on a streaming service, let's say Netflix or Disney Plus. Would you choose the terrestrial TV option or the TV Plus or the streaming service option?
Oh, I see. That's a very tough one, because terrestrial TV is terrestrial TV. Everyone has one, but then the streaming platforms are so big now. I would say terrestrial TV, because the streaming platforms there's potential to get lost in the shuffle, because you might not get highlighted. When you go on Netflix and it's got the top 10, like, if you're not there, how are people finding out about it? Whereas I think terrestrial TV, it's easier to kind of, okay, if this is on, and it's a more dedicated following as well. So like, they're definitely going to tune in at that time to watch these cartoons. So I would say terrestrial TV, because I just think like there's so much in terms of like what we consume in terms of like TV and series. It's fast food. Like, you watch one series, bang, it's done. Then you watch the next one. Like, there's potential to get lost in that. Whereas I feel like terrestrial TV, it's a set time. If I was to tell someone, it's on BBC One at 7 o'clock or whatever, as opposed to saying it's on Netflix, then they could go open Netflix and then they'll find something else to watch. So I'll say terrestrial TV.
Here's a more calm one. Marvel or DC?
Oh, Marvel. I gotta go Marvel. But the recent movies, I don't know, but I gotta go Marvel. I'd say you can see Spider-Man right there. I like both. I like both equally, to be fair. But I think just coming up watching Spider-Man cartoon when I was younger, X-Men, Iron Man, Hulk, all the rest of it. I think I'm more of a Marvel guy, to be honest. But yeah.
Same here. Like, I've got from both of them.
Yeah.
But I probably lean more towards Marvel. But I do agree with you that the Marvel recent films have been that good. I could go on a rant for 2 hours about that. But
I feel you, man. I could do the same, man. Like, it's been hard times being a Marvel fan recently, put it that way, but I'm sure they get it back.
So Sega or Nintendo?
Nintendo all day. Nintendo. It's not even a debate.
Freezer or Cell?
Freezer or Cell? Oh. Cell. I like Cell. I think Freezer's cool, but I like Cell. I like both of them, but I'll go with Cell. Good question, by the way.
Goku or Vegeta?
Again, like, is it gonna be this side? Which way is it? There's a Vegeta behind me, right there. Vegeta. So Vegeta all day.
Gohan or Piccolo?
Piccolo. Piccolo.
Yeah.
Piccolo, easy. I like these questions.
Power Rangers or VR Troopers?
See, I'd have to go. I'd have to go. I'd have to go Power Rangers. I enjoyed VR Troopers. And it's mad because like now, obviously, I know Origins obviously started the Japanese shows and all the rest of it, and like I know the origins of all the shows and that now. But I'll go Power Rangers. But both equal.
Love is I see a lot of I know comics, and I see you're a comic fan as well. Is that something you would potentially go into at some point? Is that something you would ever dip your hands into, like maybe doing a comic?
Potentially. As I think the next book that I'm doing is gonna have comic elements in there. So like it's something you can always, again, as I say, I'm always trying to progress and improve, and as a creative and just expand. Like you don't want to be stagnant for too long. So the next book is definitely gonna have comic elements in. I've done not an official published comic like back in when I was at uni. I actually did like a comic for like my final major project at university. So again, like stuff like that, I'm always kind of influenced by. I always read comics all the time, all the rest of it. So I think one thing for me is about improving my illustration skills and stuff. Because as I say, when I was working, obviously I'm still working as a graphic designer, but in that period of time where I was doing graphic design, I wasn't drawing as much. So I was doing a lot of like flyers, websites, logos when I weren't doing character design, working on anatomy, all the rest of it. So again, I'm kind of in the process of improving in that side of things as well, and getting to a point where, so maybe in the next year or two, I might do like a comic or a proper like full graphic novel. But as I say, the next book will definitely have comic elements in there, because again, it's just me putting myself in the books in terms of the influences that I have, and just trying to create fun stories. Really, like that's all I'm about, to be honest.
And before we end, I was going to ask. I know you said you're working on your next book project that'll be out ideally
Hopefully,
mid next year. Do you have anything? Is there anything coming up? Is there anything else coming up? Like, are you going to be at any events or any market events you'll be at, or is there anything people could look out? Was there anything people could look out for coming up on your YouTube as well?
In terms of events, I think not anymore for this year, but I think there's one that I'm looking to be at in March, the BLB Expo. I went there. They had one in Manchester in, was it September, October? I think. No, it was September. No, it was July actually. So they've got, it's just like a general market event where they've got like clothing, food stores, hair stores, and things like that. It was the first time I went to one of their events. It was really good. I think they are BLB Expo on like Instagram and stuff like that. So I'll be looking to do that one next year. But in terms of this year, no. And in terms of my YouTube, I recently dropped the video vlog from the Black British Book Expo, because obviously I vlogged my journey down and stuff like that. So that video dropped like recently. The next video is probably going to be a couple of time-lapse illustrations, and then the one after that will be, I have a series called Little Milo Talks, where basically it's me just talking basically about like my experiences, kind of like things like what I'm working on in terms of like the first episode is already out on the channel, and it's basically just about how I got started with Sansan as well. So it kind of gives a bit of a background to me, who I am, why I started the brand, and how I got started. So that's the episode 1 is already up on the YouTube channel now, which is just at Little Milo Books. And so the next episode will probably drop in a week or two before the end of the year. So yeah, but events wise, probably not any for this year now, but then next year I'll be back on it though.
You keep it as well, because soon, I think with me, I was keeping it on my Instagram and website there, because soon I'm going to try and post a list of all of the kind of events that go on every year and when they go on as well. Like I know there's quite a lot of like ongoing like literature festivals and things like that. But there's also quite a lot of black like market events. Like I know obviously there's a Black British Book Festival. Yeah. Before that, there was also another Black Book Festival as well in South London the week before that in Lewisham.
Yeah.
There's also in Luton. There's a guest who's been on my show recently called Dee Bailey. She runs that. You just check her out. She has the the Black Book Showcase
Okay,
as well.
No,
Yeah, that's moving.
yeah, because again, I think one thing with being like self-published is finding out about the events as well. I think that's a hard thing as well, which again, why social media is so important, because without it, there's things that I wouldn't know. Like, because I say being in Birmingham, I'm not necessarily going to know everything that's happening in London or everything that's happening in Manchester. And it's just networking and being in touch with people that know, okay, there's an event here. They may put it up on their page and it's like, oh, that's going there. And then you reach out. And so again, like the social medias and the networking is so important as a self-published author, because that is your means of promoting your brand essentially. So yeah, no, I appreciate that, but I'll definitely check those out. Really.
Yeah, and also talking. There's another lady as well. Does a podcast called Pamela Hayes. Pamela Hayes. She does a podcast as well.
Okay.
Yeah, she does. She specifically interviews people who self-published authors. So yeah, that'll be a good as well.
Nice.
She does a podcast on Spotify. Yeah.
Well, no,
Okay.
I'll check that out.
Yeah, but now we put that out now, man. Yeah, I've got more questions on. If anyone has any questions, I don't know. I don't see. I just love waving. Can't wait to see it. I guess everybody. Diverse kids joined. Who else joined? Okay, I am Affirmations. Yeah, she's been a previous guest. Her and her son, they got picked out. Okay. The only more questions. Okay, on that note, then we could let me see. No more questions. Okay, now that looks because today's it's hour as well, just in time.
Yeah.
No, thanks for being our guest there, man. Yeah.
No, thank you. No, again, that's him, and I appreciate you reaching out. Like, it's been fun, man. It's been fun. Like,
yeah, definitely fun, man. And definitely before you go, yeah, just please shout out your, especially show them never see any books again, and also shout out your website, your social media.
Yeah, so you can find all the books on littlemilobooks.com, or you can just head over to Amazon and just type in one of the titles of the book, and you'll find the rest of the series. YouTube channel on all social media is Little Milo Books, so on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and I've just recently joined TikTok as well this week. So I've been avoiding it for the longest.
I can't do TikTok. I can't. It's something I may have to do.
Yeah.
But I look at it for this is oh god. I look at
it. Like I've done. I'm on all the social platforms already, but now I've just joined TikTok. So again, it's Little Milo Books on all social media platforms. LittleMiloBooks.com for the books. You can get that. So you can get them on Amazon, the YouTube channel. Please watch the YouTube channel. I got time-lapse videos on there. I got interviews with myself. I got me breaking out my books and stuff. There's plenty of other things on there. As I said, just joined TikTok, so Little Milo Books, add me on TikTok. And if you ever want to check out any of my regular graphic design work, it's sbdesignworks.co.uk, and that's just all like my design work, flyers, posters, illustrations, all the rest of it. But I say pretty much everything Little Milo Books. Like, you'll find me. Just type me in and you'll find me.
Man, on that note, yeah, have a good evening, man. Take care and keep in touch.
Thanks so much, man. Again,
let me know everything you're doing. Yeah, just message me and I'll be happy to share. And I'll definitely give you the link to a couple of people I know who do podcast books as well. Yeah.
Oh, that's it, man. Thank you so much. Again, I appreciate the time. Thanks everyone that was watching. Thank you for reaching out, and it's good to speak to you, man. Hopefully we speak again soon.
Definitely. Take care, man. Take care.
Oh, you too, man. See you later, man. Thanks. See you later. Yeah. See you later, everyone. Thanks a lot, man.
Take care, everyone. Have a good evening. On that note, see you all next week. Take care.